Good day, good day, good day. How is everyone doing today? Good day, good day, good day. I want to welcome each and every one of you. If you are late here this evening, at least on my side of the world, welcome to All for Success. Yes, it's been a minute. I'm glad that you are here with me. So, if you are here to have a little bit of a short chat, I want you to know I'm starting a little slow, a little late today. I had several changes in my schedule, but I thought, let me see what I can do this evening. And I have been missing in action for a couple of weeks. Now, usually, I always let you know that this is a Sussex friendly space, because I'm always looking out and looking at things that our wonderful family, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the things that they are doing and about to get going with in their day. And I love to watch what they are accomplishing out here in the wider, greater world. As always, you all know, I usually start by saying, hey, get yourself a cup of coffee, because it's normally early in the day and we got errands to run. But I know it's late and you may not want coffee at this time of the evening, but whatever your favorite drink is, pour it in a glass and sit down and hopefully join me in the chat for a short while this evening. Okay? I know I'm running a little bit behind, but I am going to play catch up, I promise. A little bit. All right, so you got your coffee ready? You're getting yourself together and you're standing by? Yes, I hope so. Hey, I also want to tell you guys about something else that I'm looking into, and that is a new social media platform called Fanbase. I'm looking at doing a little bit of experimenting with this new platform. It appears to be a little bit similar to a combination of YouTube, maybe a little bit like TikTok, sort of. They have something called flicks, which are short, very short form videos. What seems to be very popular on their site is working with, um, I guess you could call it, um, audio rooms. So, for example, someone like myself, since I enjoy doing a chat on YouTube, but I'm primarily interested in, my voice rather than the actual video portion, they have a wonderful group of rooms that are audio only. It's almost like having a conference call with a bunch of friends. So I'm going to lean into working with that and seeing what I can do with that particular system. Now, eventually, or what I will also do is start to put in my own commentary or on my community page, I will start adding the links and things that are available to reach me on Fanbase. Should you be interested in looking into Fanbase and participating over there? But they have a different system, and it's quite interesting as they're trying to get started. So, if any of you are familiar with it, I'd love to hear about it, or I would love for you to tell me anything that you might know about, and if you're involved with Fanbase. So, if you are, just let me know. I would love to hear about it. So, as we're getting going this morning, I'm sorry, you see what happened there? I'm saying morning, but it's not morning where I am. But as we're about to get going today, I hope you all have had a wonderful Saturday day. maybe you had a chance to watch some television shows or enjoy yourselves. I did get up and go for a walk this morning, folks. So I'm going to post in here that I actually today, I actually walked. I'm going to say, I think we clocked in today 2 miles. Can you believe that? I've got to tell you, I was really very slow moving. Um, because I thought, oh, let's see if my back is going to hold up on this, uh, on this pathway. We have a wonderful greenway, is what we have a long walking path, and it's really nice because you can walk up to 7 miles on this green path that is throughout our um, town. It's like a park in our town, and it's very nice. You see the trees are out and about, and the leaves have not changed color, but they're about to get started to change color, but they have not changed color yet. So we are looking forward to that. And when we get out there, sometimes we take pictures. So once I get some beautiful pictures of the fall foliage, I will actually start to include those in some of my slides. So here's what we're going to do today. Let me see who is up at this time of night. And I understand if you've got to go to bed. So if you fall asleep on me, trust me, I follow. Well, it looks like, great to see you online from King for Concepts. Thank you for being here. I am so glad you jumped in here really, really quickly. Also, who's here online? Joyce Anderson. She says, good Saturday night to everyone. What a pleasure. Oh, it's a pleasure to see you here as well. And I know it's getting up in the evening, so we will see how many folks can stay awake. And I will not keep you up all night long. Oh, look at that. So what you're saying is you should still be in bed sleeping, correct? That you just jumped up. Uh-huh. Well, that means you should still be in bed, Missy. All right. So I'll chat a little bit about what I have been seeing over the past, couple of days, maybe, couple of weeks or whatever. And it's not it's I'm in this strange space, and I don't know if you all were actually um here for one of my chats, maybe the previous one. I think I did it 2 weeks ago. Oh yeah, by the way, don't forget to get up and get out, even though it's later in the evening. So if you didn't do your exercise Saturday, then get it in on Sunday, okay? um but if you guys did not have a chance to see or hear some of the things that have been happening over the past week or so, I want you to know that I'm having a bunch of thoughts all at the same time. So here's how I'm going to kind of go through this today. So check this out. I want you to know that I am definitely still going to be a Harry and Meghan fan, right? And of course, they're definitely going to be trying to fight their way through all of the things that are coming that way. But it's lovely to see over the past month or so that they have continued to do the work that they do. And in some cases, they have continued to just get out and about and enjoy their daily lives. Um, It's been wonderful to see that Megan went out and stepped out to attend a charity. She was dressed to the nines, looked beautiful. And it was wonderful to see that Harry did a lot of travel throughout various communities in Africa that he has spent time with before. And so all of those visits and outings seemed to go very well. And he was able to support the charities and the functions that he has always been a proponent of. For example, Well Child. So he was out there and he was supporting that and doing well and giving awards, and they have done some phenomenal work. Well, of course, right, from the other side of the water, there has been nothing but no matter what they do, right, you're going to get a negative spread from the UK tabloid media, and then they're going to sprinkle in anything they can come up with that other people are doing in the UK or other members of the royal family. They will sprinkle in what they can to somehow try to compare with what Harry and Meghan are doing or maybe talking about doing. That is just simply how they operate. Okay, well, with that being said, this recent couple of days, it would appear that Harry made it back home. And then, for whatever reason, he decided to hop out and attempt some surfing out near in California, out there in the beach waters of California. However, the surfing area that he was in was actually like a big giant wave pool. And I'm sure it's one of those type of facilities where you learn how to surf or you practice if you can't get out to the actual open ocean. And some people might prefer it because it is a lot more controlled. So there are some photos caught of him catching the waves, right? And like anything, this, what we would consider to be something quite, somewhat mundane for people who are sporty and like to be out and doing activities. But because he was seen out there leaping on his surfboard, the UK media went into a frenzy. They went into an absolute chaotic frenzy. He was spread out all over the UK tabloids. And then what that did was send out the feeding frenzy for all of those who believe themselves to be supporters of the royal family back in the UK. They felt that it was necessary to come out and make all kinds of negative comments about something as simple as this man being out on a surfboard and enjoying some time out. But that's what, again, where we are and what is happening in the minds of the UK tabloid press. Now, in the same moment, now, and I will not be talking a lot about that because I know, and I mean not into too much detail, but it's more of my feelings about this rather than the actual specifics. So this means that whenever that Harry and Meghan are out and about and simply just enjoying what they do, it is now becoming more and more apparent, at least I believe more and more people are beginning to get this sense of this is simply not normal. Of course, it makes money for the tabloids, and it has for what, 8 years, the stories of Meghan and Harry. But there is beginning to get this feeling, there's a shift in the feeling where it would appear that even those who are constantly berating them are starting to dim in what they are trying to talk about because it's getting to the point where there is very little to be negative about, right? People are married, they have their children, they're doing children and parent things. And of course, the tabloids are just dying for pictures and exposure of the children, and they're not getting it. And they are dying for every move or moment or business transaction that Harry and Meghan might make. So since that's the still feeding ground, it simply is only highlighting the fact that the family that remains in the UK are ill-equipped to compare. Now, for example, we're now aware, of course, right, that the king himself and his queen have traveled to Australia. And you're barely hearing anything about their visit to Australia. The main thing that I heard so far is that many of the people who are in the higher levels of government were unable to move aside things in their own schedules or calendars in order to have a significant meeting with the king. Now, to me, ladies and gentlemen, this sounds very, mm, I guess the word I would look for is ominous. After all, they have put, I'm going to assume, quite a bit of energy for the king and queen to make this journey. So the fact that they were unable to have significant FaceTime with some of the leadership in Australia, I I really do feel this is going to be an ominous suggestion of the waning interest in the UK royal family. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that these people are going to disappear, right? And it doesn't mean that the institution as it exists or as it operates, that it would end. I mean, whatever they do in their world at that level and in the background, these things will maintain. But it's just this public feeding frenzy that happens, or the public, I would say, UK tabloid support. It would appear that that is drifting. At least that's how it's beginning to look to me. So, what the UK tabloids have been able to dig out, since they can't really find true stories of horror and shame to attach to Harry and Meghan, they're just looking for tidbits, which it appears Harry and Meghan are not giving them very much. So, one of the most recent things after the surfing, it has been, I would say, exposed that there is a possibility that Harry and Meghan are seeking to purchase property or a place to live or vacation in Portugal. And so Portugal is a very interesting place in Europe, and it's a very beautiful area. And Portugal is quite populated. A lot of people like to take trips there, and especially um, celebrities. They like the idea of the beautiful marinas and many of the waterways, and the fact that there are so many areas in Portugal that are out in the rural areas and quite well protected. So a lot of celebrities make their way into that region, and it is beautiful. And I have only a couple of little snaps here, but if any of you ever get the chance to travel through that area, I think you would be fascinated by it. It's very Spain-like. It to me, it has a feeling of Spain/Venice. Very beautiful place. But if you ever get the opportunity, it's a beautiful place to go to. Lovely food, and generally a wonderful population of people that are very open and very interesting when you're shopping and going about. They're just an interesting group of people. So it would appear that the most intriguing comment that they could make, or the one thing that they're obviously going to try to do, is to find out that if they are trying to purchase property there, or if they're trying to have a presence in Europe, even in Portugal, of course, they're going to try to insert themselves in whether or not there would be any visa issues or visa challenges. Because what the UK tabloid press loves to do from the start is to try to create some type of controversy around anything that they may do, so that they can create a reason for there to be a legal issue or a problem that would cause some type of unrest with Harry and Meghan. After all, this is their number one mission in life, to create drama. But hopefully, at least I am crossing my fingers, that if anyone deserves to take a trip there and travel and enjoy that area, it would be Harry and Meghan. It would be a very beautiful and pleasant place to go and visit. But that's what we're definitely sensing from the other side of the world, right? Now, the other thing is the beauty of what Harry and Meghan do, which many people also who are non supporters cannot wrap their heads around, is that whatever cause or whatever interest that they have or advocate for, that just their presence and simply bringing attention to a particular issue is worth a lot and holds a great value. And I think that that is something too that many people would like for them not to be able to do. They want you to believe that they have no value in this machinery. So I had this thought and I asked this question: why do people expect celebrities to be perfect? Especially if we know that the machinery of a human civilization overall, it's imperfect, right? And so by understanding that we are imperfect from the beginning, you've got to ask yourself, why are people wanting so badly to be able to present the celebrities that they love and would like to admire? Why do they feel that they need to present them as perfect people? They're simply not perfect. No one is. And I thought about that when Meghan Markle was um, doing a lot of her work in support of teens. You know, she's doing a great job. She's supporting the causes that are important to teenagers, right? How they deal with much of what is happening in the online spaces. And it is admirable of her to do that. And so it's amazing that there are people out here in the world that feel that causes that these two people are supporting or approaching, that instead of looking at the cause, supporting the cause likewise, that they spend money and attention on trying to bring down the couple. And you've got to think about that and wonder what type of a mind operates like that, right? It's interesting. And I know I'm probably sounding like, okay, I'm just having this kind of, what is it, broad kind of concept. But of course, I am totally a supporter of these causes. It is extremely important that we pay attention to the world of social media. This is a very powerful platform. And it's interesting to me, being a child who grew up watching tons of television, to think that people actually watch, listen to, or absorb material, for example, from YouTube or from any other social media audio video platform, and that they would automatically believe everything they hear and see someone is saying to them, right? For example, even what I am saying to you, even how I tell you I feel about a particular topic, even though I am speaking on this platform, no one should just simply say, Will I believe everything that this person's saying? Even though I'm telling you, well, it's late in the evening where I'm living now, you know, anything that I'm saying, it could be true and it may not be, right? So it's just remarkable to me, being of the television generation, that people actually absorb what is happening in the online space as if it is real, no matter what. They believe many things 100% and without any question. So it has become a movement of people, probably paid, right? Paid resources that operate online, that their entire job is to respond to things that are said in the comments, to create traffic, right? To make or create situations that make something appear as if it is a popular topic, when in fact it might not be. But that is the business end of the online world, right? So, for example, something as simple as this outing that was had at the bookshop, Harry and Meghan supporting the local, wonderful, newly opened bookstore. And I thought that was beautiful. But what did they want you to believe about Harry and Meghan? Well, that they have no friends, right? And the way that the UK tabloid media approaches some of their headlines, when I read them, I'm often concerned in thinking that it's written by someone 12 to 16 years old, that you would actually write a headline or write a story where you are discussing whether a grown man and a grown woman with a family, whether or not they're seen as friends of other well known celebrities. I mean, just imagine, that sounds absolutely insane, right? It's like high school, whether or not someone has friends. It's crazy, right? Their family, they don't need to. But this is what the UK tabloid media would like for you to graze your thoughts with. But anyway, I just find that interesting. But here they are, they're pictured and taking pictures of people, with people who they seem to support, and they're going to the bookstores and just having a great outing and enjoying life and enjoying their time with people that they know, who move and operate in the circles that they travel in, right? It may not necessarily mean these people go to each other's houses every day and have lunch. Grown-ups don't do that. They don't have time to do. Working people do not have time for that. But to read the UK media, tabloids, you would think that they're supposed to be trotting around every day, running around with other celebrities. It's insane. Now, the reason I brought that up and the reason I went on that note, and this is going to refer back to my um, chat from last week, but I will explain why I'm putting these comments in the same thought, what I call the same thought bucket. But before I do that, let me quickly remind you guys, what's the reminder? To please like, share, and subscribe. Yes. And if you have time, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button up top. Let people know that you're here or that you're supporting this channel. And if you have something that you would like to tell me, feel free to drop a comment down below. All right? Don't forget to do that. So let's see who's here that I've missed so far. Aha. Lorna Williams, thank you for being here. She said that's Kelly Slater's Surf Ranch. Yeah, Kelly Slater, a pro surfer. You know what? To be a surfer, you've got to be great on the water. But I thought it was cool. Thank you for that, Lorna Williams. I thought it was really cool that they have actual wave pool that can do that. Isn't that fantastic? I mean, it really is cool. I would like to be able to do that, although I barely can handle just being in the swimming pool. But Lorna, she also says here that, yes, I had made that comment as well, that people believe that celebrities, because they have the money and public's attention, that they have assets that we may not have or crave. Now, I am this comment is wonderful and dead on because here's what it brought me to. Now, I've been also paying attention a little bit because I can't help myself to some of the noise in and around the court cases that will be upcoming that involve P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, depending on how you know him. His name is Sean Combs, and he's a music mogul. So if any of you are not aware of who he is. Now, I'm an older music lover, right? So I followed early hip hop, which was actually pre Sean Combs. But when the hip hop artists came on the scene, like Sean Combs, and I'm sure you all are aware of Jay-Z, or you're familiar with that name. So when they came on the scene, hip hop changed a little bit. And I talked a little bit more about this a couple of weeks ago. But hip hop became a little bit more aggressive, and that era began the East Coast versus the West Coast era, and all of that, gang nonsense that was associated with being a high-end rapper. Well, with Sean Combs, what we're looking at is a situation that's very similar to what has occurred in the Jeffrey Epstein um, case and situation. So, for those of you who don't remember, if you recall, Jeffrey Epstein was a man who owned an island, and on that island, he had a lot of parties, and he had a lot of celebrities that would fly out to his parties. And generally, it was said, or it appears, that when they would fly out to his parties, he would have a lot of young girls around, and people would get massages. And then there would be lovely parties in the evening. And many of the men and women that were named and known to go there to some of his soirees where they networked and met up with other wonderful, famous celebrities, eventually ended up in a situation where they were associated with perhaps being with young girls that were too young, right? If you were a man of age 35 or 40 or plus, and some of the girls there might have been under age 18. And so it was said that, there were some interactions that were nefarious at best. Well, for those of you who remember that court case and that situation, and unfortunately, instead of him actually serving time in prison and perhaps much more evidence being exposed and other people that may have been involved, he actually perished in prison. Well, he was the gentleman that was also associated with Prince Andrew, because what came to light over a period of time, and what I have to remind myself of, is the fact that Prince Andrew being mentioned in compromising positions with young women, whether those positions were agreed upon or whether it was consensual or not consensual. In some cases, the young ladies were too young or underage by, let's say, US standards. And in other cases, it was interactions where it would appear they weren't really consensual. So those things came up as issues with Prince Andrew, and he ended up paying an actual hefty sum to one young lady that had a court case that was in the UK. Now, so this all has already happened, right? These court cases in this situation with Prince Andrew and the Jeffrey Epstein Island and all the people who travel there, all the stars who travel there, all the politicians who travel there, and the businessmen. This was the world of Jeffrey Epstein, right? A place that you, or I think Epstein or Epstein, I'm not sure how to properly pronounce. But this gentleman was known, or notorious actually, for gatherings of people, powerful people, and perhaps these powerful people might be in questionable slash compromising positions. Well, here's the thing. This is not new, right? And I said that last week, and I want to stress my mindset about it. It's not that that would have been something so completely unbelievable that powerful rich people go to an island and just participate in moments of debauchery, right? I mean, that's ancient. And so P. Diddy being the same type of person, same type of mentality, very rich, very wealthy, knowing, having knowledge of a lot of people who are very powerful and very rich as well. Sure, they come to his events and participate in moments of debauchery. This is not shocking, right? I think what is happening is the problem that the details of what is going on behind those closed doors is seeping, the details that are seeping out into the world of the regular people. It's beginning to dim the light, or I guess some of the pedestals that people had all of these celebrities on, right? So in last week's in my previous couple of weeks, some of the key people speaking online on various YouTube videos, there are various characters out there now that are telling stories about what happened when they were at a P. Diddy party, or they're talking about who they know at some of these events. And so some of these stories are getting out. Now, you're going to have to stand by for what is true, what is not, what is fact, what is fiction. But of course, just like with Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew, many of these stories are going to involve assault. Many of these stories are going to involve um, intimate activities that would be nefarious or with people who are underage. And then, of course, in the P. Diddy world, we're going to have an added element of possible drug use or possible drugging people who shouldn't have been, right? And I'm not sure on YouTube if I'm supposed to say that, but I think it might be okay for now, right? But generally, extremely wealthy people, extremely powerful people, and extremely closely tied people generally gather together for wonderful outings of debauchery, right? Again, this is not news. What is happening and what is creating all of the hoopla and the hubbub around this current P. Diddy situation, aside from all the rap artists, all the singers, are the characters that are out there that are deciding to tell their story. They are implying that other people were involved in the details, in the negative aspects, like I said, the happenings or the interactions with people who are underage or unconscious, for example. And so they're naming preachers and they're naming, doctors, and they're naming bankers, and they're naming male rap artists, because they're trying to imply that there's a level of homosexuality going on that nobody knew about, and all of it. So if you understand that, okay, well, all right. Yeah, debauchery. I get it. But what was curious to me is one of the people that I had been listening to, and I mentioned her before. Her name was Jaguar Wright, who is on many of the YouTube channels. I mentioned her because I had been listening to her for many, many. I've been listening to some of the things she's been talking about for years. But it was just interesting that in one interview not long ago, she was actually asked a question. Now, how this ties into the royal family was this photo, I think, of Harry and Prince Harry and Prince William. And you see in this photo, they're with actually Sean Combs, P. Diddy, and Kanye West, right? And you'll see this photo shown around because P. Diddy is in this photo. And at one point, someone was trying to imply that, oh, yeah, Prince Harry was at this party with P. Diddy. And that tried to roam up to the surface of the tabloids for about a half a minute. And then people became aware that, oh, yeah, Prince William was also in that photo. So, what are you trying to say? So then that accusation kind of fluttered away and dimmed on out. Well, the interesting thing is this character who is on all of these YouTube channels, like I said, Jaguar Wright, and I've been listening to her for a while. And I'm not an anti um her whole feature. I'm not anti. I'm sure that there's quite a bit of substantive information that she's putting out. But then there is a layer of it that is just her saying things that might possibly be, right? That she may not have witnessed, she has no proof of, but she might infer. And so she was asked, was Prince Harry and Princess Meghan at these events, or do you think they're involved, or do you think anyone from the royal family would be involved? And then I want to make sure I get it right, but that's what it was thrown to her like that. Do you think anyone in the royal family would have been involved? And so she kind of slowly pontificated on the fact that, well, Prince Harry and Meghan, they've been seen with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and they've, had meetings and things with like Ellen DeGeneres, and they know them. And after all, Tyler Perry did help them get set up here in the United States. And so she said these kind of things, like this litany of, this kind of associations that they have. And then she kind of slowly went, well, they go to all the parties, they go to all the parties with celebrities. And it was just this offhand way of her saying that. And it was at that moment that I thought, wow, just when I thought you might have been someone that could be supported, I now have to take, how people say you have to push yourself back from the table. And now you have to think, oh God, I'm going to have to take a deep breath, and we're going to have to see if you can make sense out of what you're trying to say. Right. And so I just found it interesting that she kind of weaved and wandered through that type of um, what I call slow burn, but not actually saying that I've seen them there, not actually saying, yes, I know for a fact he has been there, none of that, but just kind of the weaving and the wandering of, well, all the celebrities are involved in this, is where she left it. So I wanted to point that out because, again, back to the putting celebrities on a pedestal, and I don't, right? Harry and Meghan, putting I love them to death and the things that they do, but yet watching what kind of a pedestal you're putting someone on. I don't think that they would be involved in any of the nefariousness of these parties because anyone can go to a party, right? And so I noticed that a statement was put out by a representative the um, of the rapper that Prince William and Prince Harry actually never accepted any of the invitations to many of his party invitations. So I wanted to say that, and we will see if at any time some statement like that changes, right? Because in Hollywood, and I wanted to note that a web of guilt is going to refer to the complex, interconnected network of secrets and lies and things that are morally questionable, but that those things occur in and around the entertainment industry because there's going to be a lot of that. I mean, it's Hollywood, it's the music industry. So it's going to go beyond just record deals and people cheated me out of my money and stuff like that. It's going to get downright nasty, right? So, with that being said, these various folks coming out of the woodwork and having these things to say, they probably have what I would call a thread of truth or a thread of credibility, perhaps about what happened to them. And in the environment that they are in, they are going to feel that everyone is responsible for whatever happened specifically to them. And so I'm going to definitely keep my eye on that. But I wanted to bring that up because this is also going to be a part of the bubble that is going to continue to grow around Harry and Meghan, of course, right? From the UK tabloid media. Of course, they're going to try and smear anything that they can, if it's negative, upon Harry and Meghan. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. Guys, I did not mean to keep you here this long. I said I wasn't going to be here that long. You heard me say it. Oh, okay. Lorna Williams tells us that there's a picture out there of Andrew and his ex-wife Fergie on Epstein Island. Oh, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. They were all friends. Jaguar Wright is seen to have mental issues. At least that's what's been reported. So I don't think I would take her seriously. Well, okay. So Lorna Williams, yes, yes. Oh, also, R.R. Carter's here. R.R. Carter, thank you. Yes, I have heard that as well. That she's dealt with a lot of mental issues. Here's the problem, or not a problem, but here's the thing. On one level, yes, mental problems, no doubt. She talks about her previous drug use, no doubt. Orlando Brown, is it Orlando Brown? Yeah, Orlando Brown from That's So Raven. Same thing. The issue is twisted into their mental problems, perhaps, right? Like like riding alongside of their mental issues is also their true experiences. So this is why are in this position that they're in right now. Because even if they have had mental issues, even though they are on drugs or whatever, even though they themselves were sexually promiscuous, they were in and around the various behaviors and activities that are now falling out in the media as it drips out about the P. Diddy case, right? Now, of course, many of the things that they are talking about and the things that they're discussing have to do with music contracts, the fact that their music has been used, taken from them, and that they perhaps didn't get the limelight and the recognition that they thought they should have received while they were working with many of these music moguls, especially in Jaguar Wright's case. Orlando Brown, once you get involved, perhaps, let's say, with these folks on a personal level, then there is no telling how they can interfere with your career, right? There's no telling what type of interference could occur from getting yourself involved in, let's say, perhaps an orgy on a Saturday night with the wrong group of people at one of these parties. And that sounds like what may have happened to or in Orlando Brown's story, right? So yeah, I'm totally with you there. I'm gonna watch that, but I do believe that, of course, all of them with all of their issues, mental and both mental and just straight dealing with their careers and being so young, being influenced by these people when they were so young. There is no telling what kind of an effect that has had on them. And can you imagine what they have seen? But anyway, yes, I'm with you. I'm so excited to kind of stay in the background here and watch and see how this plays out. Now, with that said, as we are about to wrap it up, I'm gonna do. I like to do the a crowd applause just to thank you guys for being here and that you have spent your time with me in this moment. And I also like these little sounds too. I love these things. I'm learning more about how to use this stuff. The more I learn about it, the more I use. But with that, I want to leave you guys with this Bible verse, okay? I always say, no, I am not preaching to you. I don't want you to think that Sunday school is starting early. But I like to refer to Bible verses that somehow may have a thought. I have a thought and it will remind me of something. And I think, you know what? Let me share that thought with you guys. No, this is not a cult, and I'm not recruiting you for anything. But I thought you might find it interesting. So let's go down to John 8:44, King James Version of the Bible, usually. But that's just where I go. Um, I was thinking of how much people are lying these days. Okay. And so 8:44 says that you are of your father. You have to remember, get some background on who was talking to who. But Jesus is trying to explain who he's dealing with. And he is saying, you know what? You are of your father. This is a conversation, right? And this entity is talking to him and he is replying back to him with, let me tell you who you are. You are of your father, the devil. And your will is to do what your father desires, which is going to be negative stuff. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in truth because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, right? He shows what his character is. For he is a liar and the father of lies. So I just want you all to know that is something that is really important when you think about people who are lying today. People who spend their time just making stuff up and lying. And like I said, in the social media space, you cannot believe everything that is said on these platforms, and you cannot believe anything just because someone said it. The worst phrase I've ever heard people say when you ask them why they believe something, they respond with, well, I heard, I was somewhere and I heard that's what people are saying. When you hear something like that, you know that you're dealing with someone who is not very bright. Okay. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind because people are lying and they get that trait from a specific place. All right. characters in the Bible. Thank you so much, Lorna Williams. You are correct. Yes, if they are talking about their true experiences, I have no problem. But when Jaguar gets evasive about a question, and she does, she not only gets evasive, but she starts to look all around the room. And I'm like, what are you doing? What is happening? And she will also begin to, I guess, what I call drift. Like the story will become a greater story about conditions of other people, right? Not so much a related story of her specific experience. And she said that that's what kind of got her in trouble also, or Pierce Morgan in trouble, because she was speaking about the character and the character of Jay-Z and Beyonce and what they have done to other people, you know. Even though she worked with them, she didn't say, "Here's what they did to me." So, yeah, I'm I'm gonna keep my finger on the pulse of these kind of stories, and I only thought about it, and I've only been paying attention to it a little bit more because the royal family was kind of mentioned in it, right? So we're gonna hope that they stay completely out of that. So, guys, let's get ready for the future of Invictus is on its way. I thank you all so much for being here. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I tell you, with that, I am going to roll out of here. And if you are able or interested, if you are interested, I'm going to try to make my way over to Fanbase and start doing a little bit of Harry and Meghan stuff. Although most people over there are doing a whole lot of other different things. But we're going to see how this works. And I hope you get a chance to check it out and tell me what you think if you have an opportunity to check it out. So take care, stay focused, stay positive, and keep winning. And I'm sorry it's so late at night. Good night, everybody.